Hi everybody, it's Claire back with an art journal project for Scrap FX for the design team. So I'm playing in the large craft journal and adding a thin layer of clear gesso to the pages because they can be quite thirsty, and it does help the colours to stay truer to their actual colour, and means that they then pop really nicely on the background too. So once I added some of that onto the page and it was dry, I then added one of the Scrap FX contour faces onto the page. So you can see I've cut it out here and cut away a lot of the excess collage paper, using some matte medium to stick this down and pop it in place. So this is my starting point for my page. I'm going straight in using this face. I'm going to get this on first and add the hair and the details I want, and then I will work my background around in the space that's left behind. Sometimes I find this can be a good way to not let the background get too crazy. So I'm starting off using some Jane Davenport, I think it's called Face Base paint. It comes in 3 different colours, and there is like a base that you can use plus 2 others that you can mix in. So that's what I'll be using for the skin tone. But here I'm using some Dina Wakley paint, and I'm using carnation, orchid and magenta to create a kind of ombre effect for the hair. So I'm almost creating the hair like it's kind of blowing in the wind. Okay, so now I'm starting on the face, and I'm going in with one of those Jane Davenport face colours and just adding it all over to start off with. I'm very much not an expert at faces, something I'm still learning, and went through a phase where I did definitely practice every day drawing faces, and kind of stopped doing it, and I can tell that I haven't been practicing. I think it's like anything, the more you practice the better you get. So my lesson to myself here is keep practicing, don't stop. So I'm just adding some onto the neck area as well, and you can see here that I just take it too far across and it doesn't look right at all. So because there's clear gesso on the page, I can just remove that paint with a baby wipe or a wet paper towel and it will come off. So then I'm going in with another shade and just adding some darker areas to the face, just to try and give it a bit more of a 3D quality and a bit less of a flat look. And then once this is all dry, I'm going to go in with some coloured pencils and add some more detail. I think one thing that I have learned with this is, like, don't be afraid of going really dark, because that is how you add the definition and the 3D effect to your faces. And I think I can be overcautious with how dark I take my shadows. But the better they are, the more striking your face will be. So then I'm just trying to add in some more highlights so that it then again just pops that face out a bit more. I think if there was one area that I wasn't very happy with looking back at this now, it was the nose. But you know, it doesn't matter, it doesn't have to be perfect, does it? So then I'm going in with the Stabilo all pencil and I'm redrawing over those contour lines that were underneath, which I could still see through, because I really like how that looked. I liked that kind of quirky quality of this face. And then I'm using my Posca pen and I'm drawing some lines in for the hair too. Again, keeping those quite loose and free so that it fits with the way the face is too. So next I'm using some colouring crayons. I was having a look what make they are. These are Derwent Colour Soft. And I'm just using some different tones here to add some more shadows to the face. And then here, just adding in the white of the eye. This is what can really bring your face to life. It gives it a bit more of a believable quality. And then just darkening up that part of the eye too. So this stencil is called Vision, and it's from Scrap FX, and I am using Sky with this stencil and a blending tool, and just adding a little bit of that onto the page. And then I'm going in with turquoise and adding from the round to square stencil. So then I decided that my shadows weren't dark enough, went in with my Stabilo All pencil. I didn't water activate it, but that just helped darken up some of those shadows, definitely. This transparency is called Circle Shapes Transparency, I think it is. You can definitely find it on the transparency section on the Scrap FX page. I'm just cutting some of these out just to use as a contrast on my page here. So I stick them in using double-sided tape. You can just staple them in if you want. There's one or two places where my staple gun wouldn't reach. And then just to make these feel a bit more part of the page, I'm just going in, adding some mark making, adding some dots around them, just to make them feel like they actually belong there. And then it was time for my quote. So I wrote that in using a white Posca pen. And then once I'd added some more definition to parts of the letters, I then went back in with a black gel pen and outlined all of the letters, which kind of made them pop out a little bit more. And then finally I used a text stamp with some black archival ink and just added some bits of stamping onto my page, and that was it. That was the final page. So I hope you've enjoyed watching me create this page in my large craft journal using a Scrap FX contour face as my starting point. Thanks for watching, and I hope to see you again soon.